All right, so here we have a couple of queries, right, that are allowing us to retrieve some information about some data set that we have here. And we're doing all this work inside of the server.js file, right? Now, obviously, this is bound to get more complex as we have tons of other data models and tons of different gets and posts and puts and deletes and implementing all the CRUD operations. So this can get out of hand very quickly, right? So certainly we don't want to litter the server.js file with all these details. So instead, we need to organize our code in such a way that it's modular, it's reusable, we can put it in different places. So what we're going to do instead here is that we're going to create a separate directory where we're going to put all our web services, right? So let's put it in this directory. We're going to have the very much like we did in the Java side. We're going to have controllers that are going to be listening for all these HTTP requests that come in, right? And in this case, we are manipulating or interacting with quizzes, right? So let's create a controller called the quizzes controller. So this will be the quizzes or the quiz controller server.js, right? Again, I like to follow this naming convention where the first word is the feature or data that we're manipulating. Then the second part of this file name is the role that this file plays in the application, right? It is the role of the controller, meaning it's responding to incoming HTTP requests. And then whether this is running either on the server or the client, that's useful so that if you have multiple JavaScript files, it kind of tells you right away if this is where is this running, on the Node.js on the server, or is this on the Angular or React on the client, on the browser. So this tells me right away where it is architecturally. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to move most of the content here that dealt with the quizzes. We're going to move it over to this controller. So let's move this over. Okay, and we're going to drop it in here. Okay, so to make this available to the server, what we're going to do is that we're going to wrap this inside of a function, right? And this function, notice that we're missing something here. We're missing this app. It's nowhere to be found here, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to create a function that's going to take as argument the app, okay, and it's going to use that app, right, to initialize all these things. Okay. Once we have that function, we're going to export it so that from the outside world they can use it. And the way the exports work is that we use a keyword module, right? This is a global namespace in Node.js, right? And whatever you bind to the exports in the module global, right, is then made available to the rest of the application through the require mechanism, right? So once I've exported it, right, the function is taking the app, right? It's using it to declare these endpoints, these RESTful endpoints, and then making it available outside so folks can require it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to require, right? We're going to say const quiz controller. We can require it. We can say require, and then go fetch that file. Now here we required express, right? And now express by default, right? Anything you put here in your quotes, right, will be looked up for inside of the module node underscore module. So we don't want to do that because our code is actually outside of the node underscore module. So what we're going to do is instead use a relative or an absolute path so that we can navigate down to the controllers. So we can say, so go down to the controllers, and in there you'll find the quiz controller, that server. Now, notice that JS here is optional. You don't really have to put it in there. It's understood. So we say just server there. Okay. Now that we have the quiz controller, we know that what's this guy is exporting a function, right? So we can call this as a function, right? And we can pass it the app as an argument because it needs it inside there, right? It needs it as an argument so that it can declare all these endpoints. Yes? All right, so let's try it out. Let's refresh. If we go back, hopefully this works just the same. There we go. Yeah. Notice that nothing changed. This works just the same as before. Excellent.